And the youth pastor, might not be married. If the youth pastor is married to a pastor's wife, you see now?
Yes,
Then you as an overall man of God, you have two pastors under you, the youth pastor and his wife, right? Who knows how to work together, something that you have failed to do as the head. So even if you're not available, young boys can contact their youth pastor and communicate whatever is happening, and they want information. Now, ladies also, they require service as well. They need a motherly figure. And in case your wife is not present to offer that service, then there must be somebody in that ministry that they can look up to. Otherwise, we can't allow them to be destroyed by the devil simply because someone doesn't want to perform. We can't destroy God's work simply because of a lazy woman that just wants to maybe sit down and do nothing. No. So she's not going to be divorced because she did not fail being a wife at home. But there must be a system so that the body of Christ gets nourished. They still can have a person that they can confide in. And you as an overall man of God can still disseminate information, teachings and information, and you give it to those pastors under you, and they will give it to the rest of the people. If it is about counseling, you have to then come up with a system that helps you counsel individuals. Okay?
Yes, Father.
Because it is easy for you to know that your wife is not forthcoming, she's not good at this. Because some of them, the only thing that they know is that you must not cancel people in my absence. That's the only principle that they have, especially if she's a wrong person. You must never cancel people in my absence. It's not good for you. Some of them, they don't realize it is even bad for the men of God to cancel people in their presence, depending with the spirit that they carry.
Father, explain that, please.
Please. I've said this before, I have to say it again.
Yes, Father. Yes, Father.
You know, I said pastors, they've proven to be the weakest people on the face of the earth.
Yes, Father.
Because all the doctors that we know, they operate in the absence of their wives.
Yes, Father.
All the gynecologists that you know,
Yes,
you don't need your wife to be present to help a woman deliver. The woman is at home cooking, trusting that my husband will not cheat.
Yes.
But it's unlike men of God. Why are we the weakest and yet we are the ones to preach?
Yes.
That you need a bodyguard. You need your wife to be present every time, otherwise something can go wrong. Why are we the ones preaching? Why not hire gynecologists to come and preach to our people? If we are that weak that you have to be stopped by the presence of your wife from raping a woman, why do you then still believe that you're a man of God? So if she's present, she mustn't be present only so that you don't rape a woman. If that's the only reason why she's present, then you have a wrong inspiration. Because if people are coming for counseling, they must get a portion from me, their pastor, and a portion from their mother. Right?
Yes, Father.
So if you're sitting with your wife and then you are counseling people, and then after you're done and you say, okay, you can hear it from your mom. And then your wife says to them, you heard what pastor said, and that's it. And you've been talking for 2 hours, and she comes in 5 seconds, she's done. Then you know she's there just so that you don't rape that woman. So you have a wrong inspiration. You don't need a security officer.
Yes, Father.
Okay?
Yes, Father.
So You now have a challenge now. So what do? It's good for you that you cannot also be accused. But if that woman is not a pastor's wife, even in her presence, you can still be accused. You can still be accused. And it will be just the two of you knowing that, but we were together counseling this woman.
Yes.
And she won't be able even to come out and state the facts. And then you wonder, so what was she doing? If I can still be accused of raping that girl, yet the counseling took place while it was the three of us, including my wife, does he have the strategies of still defending you? So she was not supposed to be sitting there.
Wow.
It was better off having 3 other gentlemen surrounding you, counseling an individual, and you have cameras. You see?
Yes, Father.
We have heard that several times. You can't come to me for counseling, and then we sit, and then we talk, and there is no camera there. It doesn't happen like that.
Yes, Father. Yes,
Okay?
Father. Yes, Father.
So if you hear that, you come and then you talk to me one-on-one. Don't think it's just the two of us. My wife is there. You get counseled from her part. You get counseled from my part. And then the cameras are counseling you as well. You look at people wondering, why all these cameras? And we say, this is how we do it here. This is how we do it here.
Yes.
And for 10 minutes, somebody's wondering, you are wondering, what is she here for? She had a mission. So you must come up with systems that protect you.
Yes.
But my issue is, why? Because sometimes maybe after counseling this individual, maybe she's a lady, maybe you might have interacted with so many pastors that are having problems in this area. Maybe you're in ministry before getting married to that woman. And maybe you realize that preaching is not even your strength. You're not good at teaching. No miracles. You've tried everything, but hey, it's so hard. Maybe you're just a good shepherd in terms of being there for the people.
Yes.
So growing up, having a ministry, you've been known for being available. If people are in hospital, you'll be there, consoling them, comforting them, and that has been your strength. And now that you get married, things have to change. You have to divide your time equally. Now somebody wants you home.
Yes.
And you're realizing, I used to visit people, some of those people were ladies. And it wasn't an issue because you were still single at that time. But now that you are married, things have to change. Then you say to your friend, let's visit this particular lady. She's not feeling well. And then you go and then you visit. Maybe you pray for her. And then after 2 days, we just want to go and find out how she's doing. And now if you don't have a pastor's wife, then you have a problem. It doesn't matter you've been visiting men in hospital. This particular, and if you say, we just want to find out how she's feeling now, and then she's looking at you, what is it about this particular lady? You know, there are many people that are sick in this world, and you seem to be very much worried about this one. What is wrong with you? And yet you know that's your only strength. And she's not supporting that area. And you know you can't replace that strength because that's all that you can offer to your people. So if she's not for that, what are you going to do? Then you have a problem now.
Yes, Father. Help us, Father.
So what do? You must have mature people that you can work with. And she has to know, especially if I'm involved. If I'm involved, it won't be a secret. I will let the wife know. They will have to leave you out on some of these issues. If we have a project, you might see the church going up, the building, the project. We are not going to be bothering you now. Okay? Because some people, they think I have to now divorce my wife for the sake of the ministry. And then what they do is to go out there and look for a wife who is suitable for the husband. And then they'll realize again she's not the right wife for the profession.
Wow. Wow.
That's the mistake that people make.
Yes, Father.
So most of them, they are lying. If they say, hey, it has to do with ministry, no. Is the wife. They are against the wife. Something is wrong with the wife to the husband. But you have now to understand, because you might get somebody who is very suitable, good at looking after you, but not good at looking after the ministry. If she's good at looking after you, then she has presented a better minister before the ministry. She's still doing her work. But how come in other responsibilities you have got a secretary who is not your wife? You've got an administrator who is not your wife. You've got a finance director who is not your wife. So why force her to become the immediate help that you have in ministry? That's not always the case, that every pastor's wife is a pastor. That is not always the case.
That's strong, Father.
That is not always the case.
That is strong, Father.
Do you know that under normal circumstances, if I really wanted to implement some of my thinking, you should be having a pastor at an assembly, and then a woman also at that assembly, and the two are not married. Two pastors, a lady pastoring that assembly, and a pastor pastoring that same assembly, and the two are not married.
Wow.
So the ladies are being pastored by a lady,
Yes,
and men are being pastored by the men. Okay?
Yes, Father.
Or maybe the man is overall in charge, and there is a pastor, a woman, a lady pastoring that assembly as far as women department is concerned, and the two are not even married, in the presence of the wife of the pastor. That is when we are really serious
Wow.
about developing people,
Yes, wow.
because some of the pastors' wives, they are supposed to be running tuck shops and selling tomatoes. They have no idea, no clue whatsoever. Zero. In terms of spirituality, they are zero. The tank is on empty. Nothing. Nothing is known about the Bible. Nothing is known about prayer. Nothing is happening. You see?
Yes, Father. Yes, Father.
So the issue of divorce is out. If you want to divorce her, you must divorce her from ministry.
Okay.
That's why divorce must take place.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And remain with her as a wife to the husband at home.
Wow. Wow.
You see, some crazy pastors, they are going to implement what I'm saying now. Yet I said, don't, it's not for you.
Yes. 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 Father.
You have to get proper guidance. If she's not the right person, for what? For who? To who? Which part of you? If it is the pastor, the man of God, then don't bother her. You can't be going on crusades and making sure that no, leave it home. God's work is greater. Gentlemen,
Yes, Father.
God's work. There are things that, how can I explain this?
Explain.
How can I explain this?
Explain it, Father.
It will not be right for a man to have his destiny destroyed, undermined, short-circuited, and even truncated by an individual. Simply because she doesn't want to change and to improve. That is not right.
Yes, Father. Yes, Father.
That is not right. But most men of God that I know, are cheaters by nature.
Sorry, Father.
Because you can be in ministry and you strongly believe that you're supposed to be in ministry, and yet maybe your wife, she's the one who got a revelation that you're not a man of God. Okay. And then she opposes you every time. She resists ministry. And you're wondering, why is she not supporting me? And yet, if you were a man of God, she was going to support you.
That's deep. That's deep.
Oof. It could be because you married the right wife who is able to discern your destiny. And everything you are doing is against that destiny. And she resists you. Because if a proper wife sees that you're doing things the wrong way, she has to resist that. She has to resist that. I believe to an extent of even packing her bags. She must be that strong to say, we are in ministry. I love God, you love God. We have to be honest.
Yes.
No cheating. No lying to people. You can't be beating me up and then you are counseling married people. I don't want to be part of that counseling session. She must be that honest. And the problem with pastors now, you think she's a wrong person. You expect your wife to be jumping up and down, and yet everything that you're saying is not true. So if she comes to resist your ministry, maybe she knows it's because you are not supposed to be in ministry.
Hey.
But because when you are religious, you are so zealous and you are so eager to go, you don't want anything to stand in your way. You may think she's being used by the devil, and yet maybe God has found the closest person to you that he can use to let you know that you are in the wrong path. What if you are not supposed to be in ministry and she knows? This is something that we need to be very, very careful about, because some of you pastors, you make a very serious mistake. You know, it's very easy that you can come home and look at how my wife treats me. And then obviously you expect the same treatment from your wives. But you don't look at the person that she's treating.
Yes, sir.
It's very easy for pastors actually and men to want their wives to look like their mom.
Yes, sir.
Why are you not behaving like mom? Mom doesn't do. Mom. You heard from the prophet. The prophet said, mom. But you know, maybe the day that you become like the prophet, then your wife would become like mom. Does she have the right man to give that kind of a treatment?
That's sobering, Father. That is sobering.
There are things that I'm doing that qualifies me for the treatment that I'm getting from my wife. Are you doing those? Look at potentials in relationships. You must look at potential. Potential. There are abilities that are present at the time you meet the person, and there is potential within the person. There is potential of becoming better. Are you improving? Are you improving? Are you improving?
Yes, Father. Yes, Father.
You can't be cheating on your wife, and then you expect changes. That aura that you bring back home from a cheating spree will follow you. She might not have all the information, but it's something that can be sensed. If you are not faithful to her, God himself will make sure that you'll not get all the love from her because you're getting it elsewhere. In as much as she might try to change, she will fail. Why? Because you belong to too many people. You have to make it easier for your partner. Okay? You have to make it easier. Be lovable.
Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father.
Don't complicate her efforts. If you are the right man, and we quoted that scripture last time, that even if the word fails, in the case where the word fails,
Yes, sir.
that's another dimension now, where you have a man of God who has never been called by God, because the Bible is saying if the word fails, which means this man has no word. So you can have a man who has never received a call. That's the word.
Yes, Father.
And your wife becomes your calling.
Wow.
Now that's a strange wife.
Father, on that note, Father, is it possible for a man of God in ministry not to be the one called into ministry, but his wife is called into ministry, and by proxy, he is then in ministry?
Yes.
Where his ministerial grace is coming from his wife and not him personally carrying it.
It's true. Very possible. Very, very possible. But obviously, you know, you must also understand that there is some requirements as well. In as much as you'd expect your wife to support you, if you are the man called, if your wife is the one called also, you must know how to offer service as well in terms of support. Okay?